This is a story all about how my life got flipped, turned upside down. And I'd like to take a minute, just sit right there. I'll tell you all how I went to the hospital during the coronavirus. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. This is not clickbait. This is a real life event that happened to me. But don't get all excited, like it's not really dramatic, and everyone's fine. I don't have corona. I mean, I have some in the fridge. I don't. I'm gonna try and make this snappy. And I considered vlogging this maybe midway through my experience. Ultimately, I decided not to. One, I didn't want my phone out a whole lot doing things at the hospital, making germs. And two, I was in a lot of pain. So it didn't even occur to me until we were like pretty far into the experience. And yeah, like I'll tell you the story and we can move on with our lives, right? I mean, what little we have to look forward to. So 2 Mondays ago, probably right around dinner time, I got some like pretty strong abdominal pains, and I kind of was thinking like it sort of felt like period cramps, but it was nowhere near the time of my period. So I remember thinking like, oh no, is like the stress making my period come like earlier? I don't really know. Something is not okay. Like I'm not okay. Just crampy, uncomfortable, yuck. I went to the bathroom a few times, but I didn't think much of it. And I think the 3rd or 4th time I went to the bathroom, like probably 7 or 8 at night, it occurred to me that this was probably a urinary tract infection. Now, I've had UTIs before. I'm not really new to the whole experience. This did start off feeling a little differently because I've never had the abdominal pain quite like that. Like I've had like pain during urination and like urgency to pee. These are all great things that you want to know about me, right? Oh my God, I thought it was a bunny. Stupid squirrel in my backyard. I thought it was a bunny. F that ever. Anyways. It was not really the typical symptoms that I've experienced, but I was like, UTI, damn. So I knew that my doctor's office would most likely be able to write me a prescription and fax it over to my pharmacy in the morning. So I just was like, you know, it's like 9 o'clock, maybe right around 8 o'clock. And I just have to make it to like 8 or 9 a.m. No big deal, I can do that. But the frequency with which I was going to the bathroom began to increase. It got real tricky to even like get up off the toilet and walk away for a few minutes. I felt like I was only comfortable when I was sitting on the toilet so that my bladder could just like void freely. Just a steady stream. And it was about that time that I noticed that there was a fair amount of blood in my urine. Yeah, I don't know if I've ever been able to like see it as well as I could see it in this experience. I've had like where like your urine like dips and it like shows up that there's blood in the urine, but like physically seeing it in there was kind of scary. What is this squirrel doing? I feel like my new channel, there's no new channel, but if I get a new channel, it's gonna, hey, get off my deck. It's just gonna be like following the lives of the squirrels in my backyard. Like that's reasonable. So right around that time, I knew it was gonna be tough to make it through the night. 10 o'clock maybe or so. And I was getting concerned. I was prepared to put on a diaper, drug the bejesus out of myself, and just try and like lay in bed. The other option was to bring a pillow into the bathroom, like on the counter, and just sit on the toilet and get whatever rest I could get from there. and that was my plan. Like, I was like, you know what? I'm less than 12 hours away. I'm gonna hang on. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. And as I was trying to, you know, fashion a diaper and fix myself a drug cocktail that I was not sure what I should take, it got worse and worse. I felt like my uterus, or as I now know, my bladder, was contracting, and it was like racking my whole body. Like, I could feel a wave of pain, like top to bottom, like making me like double over. And it would come and then it would subside a bit. And I mean, I've been in labor. It wasn't quite that bad, but it was like getting up there. And I sort of looked at my husband, because like all along I'd been rationalizing, like, even if it wasn't coronavirus, I wouldn't be going to the hospital. Like, it's a UTI. People don't go to the hospital for UTIs. Like, you suck it up, you drink some water. I had drank like a liter of cranberry juice, pure cranberry juice, which was disgusting. And it was not coming out. So I had drank a liter at least, and a glass of water, like a few glasses of water, and I was not getting that much output. So that was not helpful either. But I had been saying all along, you know, I always would be waiting till morning to go to a walk-in clinic, to go to my doctor's office, to go wherever I was gonna go, because I wouldn't freak out and go to the emergency room for just a UTI. So right around 11:30, I started to cry. And y'all, it takes a lot to make me cry from pain. Believe it or not, I'm a pussy in a lot of ways, but things do not hurt. I don't think I cried any of the times I have had kidney stones. Yes, multiple times. Would you get out of here, squirrel? I don't think I've cried. I cried a little when I broke my rib. I don't think I've cried in any labor scenario. I breathe. I breathe a lot, but I don't cry. So around 11:30, I started to cry, and I said, actually, if it were any other time than Corona, I would go to the hospital right now. The only thing holding me back is the fact that it's coronavirus. And my husband said, that's it, we're going. So then became a sort of serious process where we discussed what we were gonna do. I had taken trazodone to try and help me sleep. So my husband did not feel comfortable with me driving. So we called up my parents. We had them kind of swap out with us here at the house so my husband could drive me to the hospital. He then parked at a gas station nearby, and I went in all by myself. Prior to leaving and as we were driving, I was sobbing. I'm not sure if I've ever been so scared or ever wanted to do something less in my whole life. I just wished so badly that that wasn't happening right then. And, you know, shit happens, and I'm normally pretty much like, well, what could we do? But I was like sad and angry and really did not want to do this. So anyways, I got there, I went in alone. They sort of spoke to me through a glass screen and asked me the precursory questions about coronavirus, if I had any of those symptoms. And because I didn't, I got to line up for triage. And when I say line up, I mean I got to stand by myself because there was nobody else there. This is not a corona designated hospital. We have one in my city. This was not one of them. So I got to wait for triage, and while I was waiting, I noticed all of the triage nurses, there was 3 or 4 rooms, were sanitizing their rooms in between patients, I guess. And I got called in. The triage nurse never touched me, had a mask on. He did touch me. He had to put the blood pressure cuff on. That was all. Kept a respectful distance. I've actually, looking at it now, felt so comfortable and so safe at the hospital. Way better than I ever thought I would. So registration very much the same, and kind of sanitizing everything. Nobody touched me. She had me put my own bracelets on. Like, Everything was handled so nicely. In the waiting room, which I'll post a picture here, not a single soul. My urine sample, which, I mean, if you don't want to see it, click ahead. I'll put a timestamp or something, but here is my urine sample that I was able to submit, and I was still in a fair bit of pain at this point. There was nobody there. Everything was so clean. The only times I saw people, they were gowned up, they were washing their hands, they were using hand sanitizer, or they were sterilizing an area. I went back and forth to the bathroom about 20 million times in the time frame that I waited for a doctor, but I really only waited to see the doctor for probably about half an hour, 45 minutes. And again, the doctor did very little in terms of hands-on examination. He was able to assess from my urine and from the symptoms I was describing that I was having what he called an aggressive bladder infection. So he started me on pain medication and antibiotics right away. I did get touched one more time so the nurse could do an injection for me, and then I was left for probably another half hour, 45 minutes while they waited to see how that took effect. Then I was given a prescription and sent on my way. And I tell you this because I honestly truly do feel that I was safer at the hospital than I would have been, or that I have been, at the grocery store, at Walmart, maybe even walking down the street. The precautions that are being taken there and the way that the people are trained in terms of cleanliness and sanitization, I felt so extremely confident with. I did not come in contact with any other patients. All the doors to each examination room, because there were doors at this hospital, were kept closed, and anyone that needed to come in to see me was gowned up, masked up, gloved up, whatever. So I do think that we definitely need to be getting out there at 7, 7:30, 8, 8:30. I don't know what time of day it's supposed to be. Keep seeing different times, and applauding these individuals, because not only are they showing a ton of bravery in working towards flattening that curve, but they are leaders in what we should all be following in terms of sanitization, social distancing, and care and compassion for other people. I'm gonna end this video here. Thank you so much for coming to my TED Talk. And I didn't mean to even talk for that long, but that's my experience of going to the emergency room during the COVID-19 pandemic. Riveting. Anyways, thank you for watching. Please comment, subscribe, give this video a thumbs up. This is the content you signed up for. Okay, so I'm not even sure why you're mad. All right. Anyways, this has been Jocey Potts saying, love you all.